So many people get on social media and look at other people and wish they were them. Societal standards have been taken to an all time high through social media, and even though we know profiles are fake, we still strive to be just like that person. Why can't everybody choose just to be real? Nowadays, it's so hard to find real, genuine people through social media. Everyone is always looking at someone else and trying to be something that they are not. Between filters and Photoshop, it's hard to decipher between real and fake. This is a growing problem in society that is keeping people from having a healthy relationship with themselves and with others. With this influence of social media, confidence is hard to maintain. When people are presenting themselves on social media as a perfect person, others tend to compare themselves and tear themselves down. A lack of self esteem can cause not only personal issues, but also societal issues. This topic hits close to home because social media started getting big as I grew up. As social media got bigger, I noticed more and more of my friends started to question their self worth. I hated to see the negative effect it had on them. Social media needs a change in point of view for the betterment of society, and while content on social media is starting to change, there still needs to be a shift in influence. A shift in influence could cause an increase in self-esteem, which is important for a social influence and confidence boost. The problem with social media is that it has too much of a negative effect on self-esteem. Photoshop creates unrealistic body expectations that are not easily obtainable, and filters also hide how people truly look. With filters, people are easily able to change their appearance, and this is an issue because it makes people wish they looked different than they already naturally do. The amount of people who compare themselves to others of those real unrealistic expectations is at an all-time high. Too many people compare themselves to those expectations online. And when people compare themselves to others online, they're just setting themselves up for failure and lowering their self-esteem. Social media is one of the biggest influences in society and sets up societal standards that are almost impossible to meet. Confidence is crucial for having a healthy relationship with oneself. Instagram, for instance, is one of the biggest influences on society that causes a negative influence on people. To make a change, there needs to be a positive influence on posts that bring to light the reality of body types and beauty. A personal change that one can make can be changing the content that they post and by using less Photoshop and less filters. Being more real in one's own post shows vulnerability that other people see, and they feed off of that as well. Another change would be to unfollow people who do post unrealistic expectations, and to change it to follow people who do post realistic expectations. A change in feed and post will make a world of a difference on the influence social media personally has on a person. Encouraging and uplifting others on social media can also be a positive change, and even though society will always maintain issues in beauty standards, there are still actions that do make a difference because people feed off of what other people post. So if you're posting real expectations and real posts, then other people are like, oh, well, I want to be real and I want to post those things too. The more raw, unfiltered posts that are shared online, the more societal standards will come to improve. Big influencers are also the main culprits for comparison. There have been some influencers who are starting to highlight realistic bodies and show how filters can be used to catfish. That can be a huge problem just because whenever big influencers that a lot of people follow in society, if they tend to post more Photoshop, like Kylie Jenner and even just the Kardashians in general, they are a very big influence on society, and there have been so many people who just compare themselves to them, wishing that they had this and they had that, when in reality, if they want that, most of the time they need money, and that's not what everybody has. Plus, those unrealistic expectations just aren't easily attainable, and nobody should be judged or feel bad for looking a certain type of way or feeling a certain type of way when they are all beautifully made. So, as I conclude, social media can be used to uplift people and needs to change for society's expectations. Society needs to change in content to boost personal self-esteem and to change beauty standards. When one changes their own use of filters in Photoshop, it sets an example for others, which they tend to follow. And unfollowing big influencers and changing content that to show realistic expectations will boost confidence and help one to be more vulnerable, which shows people that it is okay to be themselves. So start being more vulnerable by dropping the filters and the Photoshop. That in turn will help self-esteem and help whenever people's self-esteem is bigger and they can be confident in their own body, they will feel better just in society in general, and they won't need people to tell them that they were beautiful because they will know it in themselves. This new change in society can start with you and will help others to see that they do not need to hide their true selves.